Blah freaking blah. What's going on, guys? It's Eric. Blah freaking blah. Thank you for joining me. So today, we got the San Diego Comic-Con going on, and there's quite a bit of news coming out, and I was trying to be picky with what I wanted to talk about next. Trying to be choosy, try to see what's really newsworthy, because there's a lot of rumors. And I don't put a lot of rumors, usually. But I have gut feelings on things, and then I see rumors that align with gut feelings. Like, okay, you kind of watch something and you start getting this feeling like, this could go this way, and you start seeing that it could be going that way. So this just in, there's a report that Ben Affleck might not be Batman for much longer. And does this surprise anybody? This rumor? See, to me, I've actually been, it seems like Ben Affleck has a lot going on in his life, a lot of negative stuff. Who knows? Who knows? I mean, the guy is very busy, and he's got a lot going on with his family. I know he went through a divorce, and that's nothing to take lightly. I don't care if you like the man or not. Don't disrespect people going through a divorce. That's hard stuff, man. And I don't even know if he brought it on himself. Maybe he did, but still. There's a line to be drawn to me when it comes to judging work, talking about the works, and then judging somebody's life and judging the person. I don't much care. I mean, it's to me, it's important to keep the distinctions there. It's kind of like when Zack Snyder had his tragedy with his daughter. It was kind of like okay, the little games are kind of over. It's time to take it seriously. So, I mean, I wish Ben Affleck the best, and whether or not he decides to stay Batman or not. So what I'm going to do, guys, is I'm going to give you this report, and then I'm going to give you my take on it, and then I encourage you to leave your comments down below. Also, welcome new subscribers. Thank you, guys, for subscribing. I really appreciate it. We crossed the 250 mark, and we're on our way to 1,000, which I think is great. Like I said, that's peanuts on YouTube, but to me it's awesome. And I really appreciate you guys being here. And if you're new here, please subscribe and help us get to 1,000. And make sure you leave your comments down below, because I want to hear your ideas on this and what your take is. So this is coming courtesy of io9.gizmodo. I've never been quite sure what that means. I guess the website's just io9. But it says, excuse me. It starts out saying Ben Affleck might be in Justice League as the DCEU's Dark Knight, but he might not be holding on to the cowl for much longer. A new report claims that Warner Brothers is looking at plans to quietly phase out Affleck's Batman and replace him with a new one. I'm going to interject a thought here, as I am prone to do, that Warner Brothers isn't looking to phase him out quietly, which I'm hoping that would be respectful. But I think, I personally think Ben Affleck wants out. And but I'll get to the thoughts at the end. The Hollywood Reporter alleges that in the wake of both Affleck dropping out of directing the standalone Batman movie and his successor Matt Reeves ditching the actor's script to start anew, Affleck could be on his way out of the role altogether, rolled together sooner rather than later. And although he obviously can't be removed from Justice League at this point, obviously, it's far from guaranteed that Affleck will ultimately appear in The Batman. The Hollywood Reporter further speculates that Warner Brothers could potentially look for a much younger star to take on the role, especially if Reeves' plans for a whole Batman trilogy work out, as Affleck would be in his mid-50s by the time a trilogy was over. As for how Affleck, whose name they misspelled right here, boy, say what you want about Marvel's typos lately, it is going around like a venereal disease. It's bad. As for how Affleck would be phased out, me too. I thank you for the catch. Somebody commented when I misspelled a title in my last video. So yeah, it's going around. I caught it too. The studio will purportedly make any potential exit quietly, with the change only briefly acknowledged in a future DCEU movie. We reached out to Warner Brothers for a comment on Affleck's future in the role, and they directed us back to a previous statement from studio chief Toby Emmerich, also included in the Hollywood Reporter's report. Ben is our Batman. We love him as Batman. We want to keep him in the cowl as long as we can. So, Number one, notice that they didn't make a new statement. That's very telling. They pointed them back to an old statement. And that's actually that's a strategic move. They're not saying anything currently at this time, which tells me that there is trouble, and we've all seen it. Well, most of us have. You've seen, Ben Affleck in interviews saying what a pain in the ass the constant questions about Batman was. This is when he was in a press junket for his last film, Live by Night, which I haven't seen yet but want to. And he, like I said, personal stuff aside, the reaction to Batman v Superman being what it was, which is not cool. It was really rough, choppy waters, and I'm sure that was, not what he was expecting to get, being the Batman that was in Batman versus Superman, which wasn't versus Superman, but anyway, we're not going to get into Batman v Superman. If you're curious to know my thoughts on Batman v Superman, I did a really old video where you can see my face, regrettably, and I talk at length about that. It was one of my first videos, actually. So it's rough, but it is my thoughts on that film. So my take on this is he's tired. He's got stuff going on. It's been a rough ride. He stepped out of the director's chair, which I thought was unfortunate because I think he would have done a really good job directing that film. And now his script, his whole vision is scrapped. And at this point in time, this is looking like it's totally going to be so different from Zack Snyder's DCEU that would make sense for them to cast someone else. That is my 2 cents. Now, my personal opinion, honestly, is I hope he sticks with it. Because I know and this is aside from, like, if he's in a good place in life and he's just having doubts about himself as Batman. He was one of, he got dogged. I don't know if you guys remember this. He got all kinds of hell when he was originally cast as Batman. Because the trouble with casting someone like Ben Affleck as a role such as Batman is you look at the role and you have a hard time not seeing Ben Affleck. It's just common with big actors. It's like Tom Cruise or Superman. You would just, I know some of you are cringing at just me saying that, but I'm like, you would never at any point look at Superman and not think Tom Cruise because he's just reached such a stature. But after the film came out, he was the bright spot. I remember reading tons and tons of comments and reviews, and pretty much across the board, everybody was on board with Ben Affleck as Batman. They were like, he is the best part of this film. Suicide Squad, a lot of guys were saying that the coolest part of that movie was when Batman showed up. I can't argue with that. I think that Warner and Ben Affleck are waiting it out I think Ben Affleck wanted out, and I think Warner convinced him to hang out until Justice League was done. And until Justice League came out, and see how people responded to it. I think that if the response to Justice League is negative, he's gone. He's done. I think if it's positive, he'll hang around. His age, as far as him being in his 50s, I don't see that being an issue. I mean, movie-going audiences are pretty, they're pretty open to going with the flow, I think. I mean, if it's a Batman film and they've been with this guy, who at this point, the Batman will be the 4th time he appears as Batman. And, comic book fans like us, movie fans like us, are, I feel like we'd all be open to it, honestly. Let me know what you think. Because I think he could do a dark noir story, which he's done in the past. I mean, his films kind of have that, the ones he directs, kind of have that vibe anyway. So I don't know. So at this point, those are my thoughts, guys. The floor is yours. The floor is yours. Please let me know what you think, and leave your comments down below. And forgive. I've commented on some guys. I've responded to you guys somewhat the past couple days. I've been busy, but I've also noticed that I'm not sure if the YouTube algorithm isn't punishing me for doing a lot of comments with you guys. I'm kind of keeping an eye on that, so my comments are going to be light over the weekend. I am reading them all, and I will respond to a few, but I've noticed little changes in the share percentages, like how often YouTube shares a video, and it helps grow my audience, helps all of us grow by suggesting it to other people. And that's where I'm sure that's where a lot of you came from, was seeing the video suggesting you watched, thank you, and you subscribed, thank you, thumbs up. So yeah, I'm gonna try to look into that, because YouTube's always changing the algorithm. It's really frustrating to try to keep up with it. But so forgive that, guys. I am with you, and I am reading, and I may set up an email. If you guys want, set up an email and get messages directly, and go from there. So yeah. Hopefully, the best. Like I said, I wish Ben Affleck the best, and I'm excited about Matt Reeves doing the Batman. He's reportedly, this is a rumor, he's brought in his collaborative writer, who's worked on a couple of Planet of the Apes films with him, and wrote a few more films that were fair to decent. So yeah, there's movements going on now that Matt Reeves is done promoting the Planet of the Apes film that he just put out. He is going full bore into Batman. So I'll keep you guys abreast on any more updates that I get, and I will get a couple more videos to you over the weekend. Thanks again for listening, and I will see you guys in the next one.